All right, Nick and Andy, the big one coming up this weekend. Arsenal against Manchester City in North London. Another huge, massive early season clash. We've had quite a few already this season, haven't we? With Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester Derby. Some really big games early in the season. I love it. Nick, what's your thoughts on this one? Because Arsenal will be confident. City will be confident as well after that demolition derby win against Man United, and Haaland and Foden and Doku looking the part. So, yeah, if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said this is definitely going to be an Arsenal win, but I don't know if that's the case anymore.
It's going to be a fantastic game. I'm stoked. And I know this is one of those ones where you talk about for the neutrals, and for both of these teams, I am a neutral. It's the case for 67% of this particular group of faces. Both of these teams are phenomenal. And honestly, for a while, and I don't mean to scapegoat someone here, but I had been saying, I wonder what Arsenal might look like with a better, someone better than Thomas Partey and someone a lot better than Gabriel Martinelli. And we're seeing it now, and they're phenomenal. And their big guy up top is firing, and Man City's big guy up top is firing. And Manchester City looked real controlled at the back. That's what I wrote about. My lesson from the Manchester Derby was that when Man City had to make saves and bunker in, they were fine. When they had to possess the ball, they were fine. When they had to do what Haaland used to do at Dortmund, which was be a little bit more direct and run the field, they were fine. And they also scored a goal with possessing the ball in the final third. Both of these teams look great. They're going to have to rotate. And guess what? They're both deep. This has all the ingredients, guys.
Oh, it's great. And obviously, Andy, as we know, Arteta has basically just created Manchester City South here in England. So, and he's done that with Gyökeres coming in and Haaland, kind of the mold there. And that was the missing piece of the jigsaw to finish off these chances. And we've seen that from him already. But Arsenal, like Nick mentioned, it looks solid and steady so far, professional. Without Saka, obviously, that's been a blow. He's still out. But Saliba and Odegaard are obviously working through injury issues, but the fact that Gyökeres, Eze, and Madueke played so well last weekend, looked so good against Forest, and then just all over the pitch, right? The new signings, Mosquera coming in, and just so many others. Zubimendi getting a couple of goals. I mean, they've really hit on all their big.
That's not what they signed him for. And
exactly. First time he's ever scored 2 goals in the same game, I believe, in his career. So, but they've hit on all the signings, it looks like, so far. And that's exactly what Arsenal needed for this next step, right? Because Nick mentioned it last season when someone went out injured, it was a big drop off and they were just kind of dragging themselves through games. But they have that incredible depth now to match City and Liverpool all the way.
Yeah, it does feel like between all of the new signings plus Saka, they have somebody that can and probably will step up in most games as the difference maker. And I think that's been the biggest miss the last couple of seasons. It's been, is Bukayo Saka going to have an amazing game out on the right wing? Is he going to, pick up a couple of assists on set pieces? And if not, you didn't really fancy Arsenal's chances in too many of the big games. You kind of knew what you were going to get from them, and you knew it was going to be a little bit stodgy, I think, to steal a word from you guys over there, Joe. Just the way that they played. But this season, it does look it looks a lot different with multiple options out wide. And I think Nick is right to point out, replacing Martinelli in that lineup probably was the biggest weak spot for me for a title contending team, especially like in the modern game. If you don't have one of those center forwards who's going to score you 15, 20, 25 goals in a season, then you've got to have multiple goal scorers out wide or players that are going to pick up a boatload of assists. And I think Eze will be a combination of probably both of those two things on the opposite side. And the fact that they can bring Madueke in, their depth is very, very good this season. I will pump the brakes just a tiny bit on the fact that they played Forest in Ange's first game, appointed 4 or 5 days prior, and players coming back from internet. It was a good performance. I don't think we're going to see that consistently from them this season. I do still think I don't want to say Arteta is going to hold them back, but I do think that there is a level of, it's the same thing we've talked about with Pep over the years, isn't it? He's unwilling to give up, and I don't even know if this is team and game control, but it almost feels like his own personal control over the situation, and it just like he can't give that up. It would pain him too much, and So I do wonder if at some point this season we're looking at this team with all these brilliant attacking players out there, and they're all just kind of back defending deep, and they're not really playing the expansive stuff that we would expect to see from them. That said, I think City are going to struggle with set pieces defending against Arsenal in this game, unless Pep might start 8 center backs in this one. Who knows?
That's true. He does love to do that. And you mentioned the word stodgy, and that's just got me thinking of a steak and kidney pie or something like that. I might have for dinner over here tonight. So thank you very much. Great word. And Arsenal are definitely looking to be less stodgy this season, and so far, so good for them. Nick, City answered a lot of critics with that performance, the way they blew Man United away. Yes, United weren't great, but they got the job done with minimal fuss, really. And it's great to see Doku shining the way he did. Phil Foden especially back fit and raring to go. Obviously, Haaland was sensational as well. And it was just one of those games where you were like, oh, yeah, like they have a new core group of leaders that have kind of got to step up now with De Bruyne, Gundogan, others gone. And they're like relishing that. I think Foden and Haaland in particular seem to really want to take this team put it on their back. They've done it several times over the years with their performances, but it's almost like the leadership stuff, right? And like setting the tone. And I think that could help take them to a new level. And it was just good to see kind of the City of old appearing again. And it's a big week for them with Champions League, big game there. And obviously this one against Arsenal. So what do you think about them? And again, Donnarumma, excellent signing and goal.
He was excellent. He was excellent. We knew he was quite good, and there does seem to be, as you pointed out in your analysis from being at the Etihad, that there's an understanding and a willingness to work between him, Donnarumma, and Guardiola. My question about them for this week. Well, first of all, one highlight. Remember, Kusanov had his first game, and he was a mess at Man City. He was a young guy on the biggest stage of his life. We forget what it looks like when you learn what Pep wants and you start, because he is quick. And he is big, and he is a problem at right back. There are I don't want to say shades of Kyle Walker or anything crazy like that, but there's something there. What I worry about for this week is the status of Aït-Nouri and what Arsenal might be able to do on that left side, because Saka is a big miss, but missing an attacker, a key attacker, is a lot different than missing a key flank defender. And O'Reilly was brilliant against United because United will let you do that. I'll be real interested to see what Arsenal do coming down the left side of Man City. Yeah,
it's got so many great individual scraps out there. Andy, how do you think it's all going to play out, mate? Because we've seen kind of both sides of this game, right? We've seen some really boring 0-0 draws, but we've seen some back and forth games as well. And it kind of feels to me like it might be a little bit of the back and forth nature in this one, a little bit.
I want to believe that. But I don't think I can. Between these two, one of them is going to say, no, we're not playing football today.
It's Mikel Arteta.
One of them is going to do it.
It's Arsenal.
And I don't necessarily think it's the wrong in this game. I don't think it's the wrong play for either side, really.
It's early in the season, right, as well, again. So this is
there's that, but also, because it is early in the season, both teams are so new as well. I don't think either one of them is going to be as trusting as they would be if this game was played in match week 15 rather than match week 5 at the start of the season. And so I do think we'll be excited for it. We'll be pumped at kickoff. And then I think pretty quickly we're going to see, we're doing this again. I'll go 1-1. Probably a set piece goal for Arsenal, and probably Haaland on the other side, of course.
Nick, what are you going with?
If Arteta doesn't go for it in this game, I might sell on him, because Arsenal play on Tuesday early in Spain, and Man City play on Thursday. There's everything for Arsenal to go for it. I'll need to believe it when I see it. Joe, you wrote a column a couple of weeks ago, and it sold me. I mean, this guy needs to put on his big boy shoes, and I just don't know that he's going to do it. So I'm also going to say 1-1. I think Haaland and Foden look fantastic right now, but I think Man City will have to be a bit more pragmatic. And I think Arsenal are going to play to get a point.
I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 2-2. I
would love that. Yeah.
I think that'll be where we're at, and I think maybe Arsenal, given how it went against Liverpool, and probably thinking that they are ahead of City in terms of the you know, the players they have and the depth of the squad and all the rest of it. I think they're going to come out a little bit more of their shell on this one, and that will hopefully open the game up. I think if we get an early goal in this game, then it should set us up for a brilliant encounter in North London. All right, head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for the how to watch information, live analysis, reaction videos. We'll have you covered for this massive game early in the season. Thanks, Nick and Andy, so much for joining me. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Enjoy the games. Speak soon.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.